Welcome to Everyday English Stories. Today's story is called The Bookshop Cat. This episode is for Level B2. Listen carefully, and don't worry if you don't understand every word. After the story, we learn 6 useful words together. For the best part of 20 years, Peter had kept a narrow little bookshop on Harlow's High Street. It smelled of paper, dust and old wood, and he would not have changed a thing about it. Business, however, had been slow for a while, and the figures were starting to worry him. On a raw November morning, he turned the corner with his keys already in his hand. Something small and gray was huddled on the doormat, out of the wind. It was a cat, thin, soaked through, and entirely unimpressed by the weather. Peter had never been much of an animal person. Even so, he could hardly leave the creature shivering in the rain. He unlocked the door, and the cat strolled in as though it had booked the place in advance. He warmed a saucer of milk and dug a tin of sardines out of the back room. The cat polished off the lot before he had even taken his coat off. Then it settled into the red armchair by the window and slept like a log. Peter shook his head, half amused, and got on with the accounts. At 6 o'clock he held the door wide open and waited. "Go on, then," he said. The cat did not budge. The following morning, there she was again, sitting on the mat as if nothing could be more natural. By Friday he had given in completely. He bought a bowl, a brush, and a basket she flatly refused to use. He called her Pepper, after the gray and white speckle of her coat. In a town the size of Harlow, news of that sort travels fast. Children started dragging their parents down the high street to see the Bookshop Cat. They came for Pepper, but more often than not they left with a book under their arm. Pepper, for her part, spent the afternoons asleep in the window, quite indifferent to her own fame. Passers-by stopped, smiled, and very often stepped inside. For the first time in years, the takings at the end of the day made Peter smile. A regular customer once asked him whether Pepper was really his cat. He considered the question rather more seriously than she had expected. "I'd say it's the other way round," he answered. That afternoon he wrote a small card and propped it in the window. It read, "Pepper. Shop assistant. Sleeps on the job. Please do not disturb." She was on the doormat at 9 sharp every morning after that. And Peter never once minded the wait. That is the end of the story. Now let's learn 6 useful words from it. Soaked through. Completely wet, right to the skin. For example, it was a cat, thin, soaked through, and entirely unimpressed by the weather. To polish off. To finish food or drink quickly and completely. For example, the cat polished off the lot before he had even taken his coat off. To sleep like a log. To sleep very deeply and without moving. For example, then it settled into the red armchair by the window and slept like a log. Not to budge. To refuse to move, even a little. For example, "Go on, then," he said. The cat did not budge. More often than not. Usually, in most cases. For example, they came for Pepper, but more often than not they left with a book under their arm. The takings. The money a shop or business receives in a day. For example, for the first time in years, the takings at the end of the day made Peter smile. That's all for today. Listen to the story again tomorrow, and you will understand more each time. New episodes every day, so subscribe and practice with us. See you tomorrow.